Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Mikel Arteta left amazed by 24-year-old Arsenal player's display at Stamford Bridge yesterday. Mikel Arteta has singled out Arsenal midfielder Declan Rice for praise after his side earned a point at Stamford Bridge yesterday. Arsenal were way below their best on Saturday evening and found themselves 2-0 down early in the second half at Chelsea. Cole Palmer opened the scoring inside 15 minutes as he slotted away a penalty after William Saliba was judged to have handled the ball in the area. The Gunners struggled in the first half and were hit with a huge blow right after half-time as Mykhailo Mudryk caught David Raya off his line and doubled Chelsea's advantage. But Declan Rice got Arsenal back into the game as he pounced on a mistake from Robert Sanchez before producing a brilliant finish from range. Leandro Trossard bagged a late equalizer after some exceptional work down the right-hand side from Bukayo Saka. Yet, it was Rice who stole the show once again for Arsenal, and it's fair to say that Mikel Arteta was impressed with his performance. Speaking to BM Sports, Arteta was asked about Rice's display, and the Arsenal boss was full of praise for the midfielder. He said, "He was brilliant again. I thought he had a really good game. I think when we dropped him to the number 6 position, he increased the level and really gave the team a different dynamism as well. He scored a really important goal as well to give us belief in that moment of the game." Rice has arguably been Arsenal's standout performer so far this season, and he is proving to be worth every penny of the £105 million the Gunners paid to sign him. The 24-year-old has even popped up with a couple of goals this season and put in yet another commanding display at Chelsea yesterday. The Englishman will undoubtedly continue to improve under Arteta's guidance too, and Arsenal fans should be excited about what Rice could achieve in North London. BBC pounded very surprised by extremely poor Arsenal man's performance versus Chelsea. An awful loss has been made of how the goalkeeping situation at Arsenal and David Raya's performance against Chelsea only added fuel to the fire. Covering the match for BBC 5 Live, Pat Nevin expressed his opinion on the 28-year-old after a shaky display at Stamford Bridge. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta will be pleased to have come away with a point in a difficult match against Mauricio Pochettino's side. Cole Palmer gave the host the lead from the penalty spot before Mykhailo Mudryk doubled their lead with a cross that looped over the Spanish goalkeeper. Aaron Ramsdale wasn't in the Arsenal squad after the birth of his daughter yesterday, giving Arteta an easy decision to make between the sticks. After previously claiming he could rotate his goalkeepers, David Raya has very much established himself as Arsenal's number one. However, Pat Nevin was unimpressed with Raya's distribution against Chelsea as he struggled to find his Arsenal teammates, with Gary Neville agreeing he had a difficult evening. Considering that was one of the key reasons why he was signed from Brentford, that might worry Arteta. The conditions weren't easy to play in yesterday, and his counterpart Robert Sanchez also struggled for Chelsea, but without kicking a ball, Ramsdale's chances of getting back into the side may have been boosted last night, especially after impressing in training recently too. Speaking about the 28-year-old, Nevin said, "It's quite surprising that Raya doesn't look that comfortable on the ball here because his teammates are getting closed down. The centre-backs are being closed down, so he is not getting easy passes to make and he's looking a bit rattled on the ball." Later on in the game, Raya's distribution was still a talking point after giving the ball away to Cole Palmer, and Nevin added, "Do you know, and we did mention it earlier, he is not looked good on the ball at all at any point, and that is awful. That one, you should never play that pass. Had it got through to his teammate, he was marked anyway, but it never even got there. He's not been good on the ball. His passing from the back has been extremely poor. You have to call it the way it is." Kieran Gibbs says Arsenal player is Mikel Arteta's secret weapon after a Chelsea draw. Kieran Gibbs has lauded Leandro Trossard after his goal earned Arsenal a point from their trip to Chelsea, suggesting that the forward has been unreal since his move to the Emirates. Gibbs was speaking to ESPN as he admitted that it's hard to criticize Mikel Arteta for not starting the Belgian against the Blues. Leandro Trossard continues to prove himself to be an amazing signing for the Gunners. There seemed to be a bit of concern when the club signed the forward during the most recent January transfer window, but Trossard has made a huge impact. Going into Saturday's fixture, he had scored 4 goals and contributed 11 assists in just 29 games for the club, and it was his superb finish which earned Arsenal a point at Stamford Bridge. He did brilliantly to get himself on the end of Bukayo Saka's cross and poke the ball past Robert Sanchez. With that, Kieran Gibbs was asked whether Arteta's decision to not start Trossard deserves to be scrutinized. He was full of praise for the former Brighton star, but insisted that he had some sympathy for the Arsenal boss due to the players he is battling for a place in the team with. He told ESPN the following: I think it's a tough one with not starting Trossard. Also, I think he's been unreal since he signed, and he is kind of like the secret weapon at the moment for Arsenal. Martinelli is one of our most dangerous players, and obviously Saka, so it's a tough one for him. But Trossard's been knocking on the door for a while now, and so I also wouldn't mind seeing him start in behind Jesus instead of one of the midfielders, especially with the way that Arsenal, more often than not, control games. I like him in those tight areas. Trossard may have to continue to be patient before he really gets that opportunity to enjoy a run in the side, but there is absolutely no question that he is really pushing those in front of him in the pecking order. Mikel Arteta now says that Chelsea were targeting £35 million Arsenal player yesterday. Mikel Arteta has admitted that he was forced to take Zinchenko off yesterday as Chelsea were targeting the fullback. Arteta spoke to beIN Sports after watching his side produce a brilliant comeback and earn a 2-2 draw at Stamford Bridge last night. Arsenal went 2-0 down early in the second half after Cole Palmer's first half penalty and Mykhailo Mudryk's bizarre goal. Arsenal weren't at their best yesterday, but managed to grind out a result thanks to late goals from Declan Rice and Trossard. Arteta decided to make a change at the break as he introduced Takahiro Tomiyasu into the game for Zinchenko. Zinchenko had picked up an early booking and was struggling to deal with the threat of Raheem Sterling down the right-hand side. Now, Arteta has claimed that Chelsea were targeting Zinchenko after the fullback was booked in the 11th minute of the game. Speaking to beIN Sports, Arteta explained his decision to take Zinchenko off at half-time and praised the impact his substitutions had on the game. He said, "Huge credit to the players for their determination, their belief, and then the quality. The subs again, they were crucial, all 4 of them, the impact they had. Tomiyasu, the way he comes back, we had to take Alex off. He was on a yellow and they were targeting him big time, and the rest of the subs as well, so really happy." Zinchenko has been a standout performer for the Gunners over the past year after making the £35 million switch from Manchester City, but it's fair to say the 26-year-old struggled at Chelsea yesterday, and it was probably the right call from Arteta to take him off at half-time. Sterling has been in exceptional form for the Blues this season, and Tomiyasu's introduction helped to nullify the threat of the English winger. Unai Emery says he's been so impressed by a brilliant Arsenal man. Unai Emery has heaped praise on Mikel Arteta for the work he has done during his time as Arsenal boss, but believes that he would have taken the Gunners back up the table too had he got more time. Emery was speaking to the Times as Aston Villa continue to make a brilliant start to the season. The Villains will go within 2 points of the Premier League summit should they beat West Ham today. Unai Emery has certainly shut up a lot of doubters with his work at Villa Park, and another manager who knows what that is like is Mikel Arteta. Arteta was appointed by Arsenal after they made the decision to sack Emery in 2019. At the time of the Spaniards' dismissal, the Gunners were 8 points off the top four, and it was very hard to argue that they were moving in the right direction. Of course, it's hard to not look at Arteta's tenure and believe that it was inspired to give him the job. Arsenal won the FA Cup in his first few months in charge, and they look set to launch their second consecutive title challenge this year in the Premier League. Emery has praised Arteta for the job he has done at the Emirates, and he admitted that he understood why he was dismissed, but he suggested that the role was going to take time, whoever was in charge. He said, Arsenal was difficult to arrive at after Wenger. What was needed was a process. The supporters respected me a lot, and I was frustrated because I was thinking I can do it, but I need time. But I always understand football. I always understand my position as a coach. You have to win. You convince by winning. The work Mikel Arteta is doing there now is brilliant, and he is doing more or less everything I was thinking needed to be done there. And now history is different. I am here. I have my challenge here, and Aston Villa is an amazing club. Jamie Redknapp hits out at what his heart said about Aaron Ramsdale. Jamie Redknapp believes that those who think that Aaron Ramsdale needs to leave Arsenal are clearly wrong after David Raya's display against Chelsea on Saturday. Redknapp was speaking on Sky Sports after the Spaniard made a really poor error, leaving the Gunners needing a brilliant comeback to earn a point from their trip to Stamford Bridge. Aaron Ramsdale missed the game due to personal reasons, but you would imagine that the 25-year-old would have been on the bench anyway, having lost his number one spot in recent weeks. Mikel Arteta's faith in David Raya has left some suggesting that Ramsdale will need to seriously consider leaving Arsenal in the near future. It was a surprise to many that Raya did take the number one spot so soon, and he has not exactly justified his place in the side. Raya's worst mistake yet came on Saturday as his positioning allowed Mykhailo Mudrik's cross to fly over his head and into the back of the net in the early stages of the second half. The 28-year-old also nearly gifted a goal to Cole Palmer shortly after, and with that, Jamie Redknapp believes that Aaron Ramsdale needs to just bide his time at Arsenal rather than leave. He said, a lot's going to be said about Ramsdale now, but I actually think, forget Ramsdale for a second, what's actually happened with this has made Raya look worse. He looks like a bag of nerves right now. David Raya is really struggling with the pressure and scrutiny that he is under. He is giving the ball away. He is looking like he is always going to concede goals. This hasn't helped him, this situation. People said he should leave. Aaron Ramsdale, I disagree. I think he should hang in there because I am not convinced the way he is giving away so many goals. He is complicated a situation that he really didn't need to, Mikel Arteta. You can see Redknapp's point of view, but if Ramsdale does not regain his place by the time the January window arrives, the £30 million man will surely be wondering if he ever will. Arsenal attacker told to consider a transfer to Newcastle United. Emile Smith-Rowe would be a great fit for Newcastle United. That is the view of former Tottenham and Aston Villa defender Alan Hutton, who believes the young playmaker should consider a move to James Park amid the uncertainty surrounding his Arsenal career. Falling out of favour with Mikel Arteta in recent seasons, Smith-Rowe, 23-year-old, has been forced to play second fiddle to both Gabriel Martinelli and Leandro Trossard. With less than 3 years left on his deal, the 23-year-old now faces an important season. Failure to be awarded more first-team game time by his manager could see him offloaded either in January or at the end of the campaign, according to recent reports, including this one from the Northern Echo. Eddie Howe's Magpies are one of the club who have been discussing the possibility of making a mid-season approach for the London-born attacker, and Hutton feels a potential transfer could benefit all parties. He told Football Insider the following: "I think he is a top talent. There is no getting away from that. He has shown it at Arsenal, so it has really been a shame the injuries. He has had to fight to get back in, and Arsenal have done really well without him. I think Newcastle, and if you look at the likes of players they have signed, they give young talented players an opportunity. Could he fit into that? Of course he could. I can see it happening. It's going to be down to him. Does he see his future at Arsenal? Does he want to force his way back in? Or does he want to look for a fresh challenge? Newcastle is a good prospect moving forward. They are going in the right direction, and he might want to be a part of that. Since being promoted to the Gunners' first team in 2020, Smith Rowe, who has represented England on 3 occasions, has directly contributed to 29 goals in 103 games in all competitions. As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.